Hope everyone's enjoying their week. I'm Courtney Ingalls.
And I'm Anthony Grissetti. Thanks for tuning in.
This week, we have an epic show for you. That's right, we're talking about the solar eclipse. It's been 99 years since a total eclipse crossed the width of the United States. It wasn't a surprise that social media outlets exploded on Monday with images and videos on how everyone was spending the day and, most importantly, where they were watching from. The path of totality crossed the country from west to east, entering in Oregon and exiting in South Carolina. According to NASA, 14 states across the U.S. experienced more than 2 minutes of darkness in the middle of the day. For those states that didn't follow in the direct path, they were still able to see a partial eclipse, which is what we all enjoyed here in East Longmeadow. Community members spent it with family and friends, and some even made their own viewing device.
We took a pair of binoculars and attached a piece of cardboard to one side of it, to the smaller side of the lens, and then attached it to this tripod. And so the sun is actually shining through the wide end of the binoculars onto the whiteboard behind it. And it's showing us the eclipse as it occurs. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't think it would be that vivid, even though it's just sort of black and white. But yeah, it was pretty neat. Glad, we're here with my wife and our daughter-in-law and our daughter and our granddaughter. So we got 3 generations of Hazes watching the eclipse. Yeah, every eclipse, I think we're going to come back here.
For those who missed it, not to worry. You won't have to wait another 99 years, but instead just a short 7. On April 8th, 2024, a total eclipse will be back, this time from Texas to Maine. The solar eclipse was just another great way to end the summer.
It sure was, but now students have to buckle down because the start of the school year is officially here. To help students get prepared, 3 EL churches initiated donation drives. Thanks to St. Luke's Greek Orthodox Church, the First Congregational Church, and St. Paul Lutheran Church. Over 20 students will receive essential learning tools such as pencils, notebooks, folders, crayons, scissors, backpacks, and much more. As for the teachers, Staples handed out teacher appreciation packets all last week. Inside you'll find coupons, supplies, hand sanitizers, and more. Staples also applied a discount for those teachers who were shopping. For the school itself, community members are able to donate money when eating at Red Robin. The Red Robin Kula Foundation allows dine-in customers who are part of the Red Robin Royalty membership to select a school, charity, or nonprofit organization to receive 1% from their bill. Although it will be a small amount, donations do add up.
Switching to our meeting recap, we have 4 meetings to cover.
A major highlight this week was the public hearing continuation for Pride gas stations.
Pride Gas Station is requesting the hours of operation to increase to 24/7. Earlier this summer, Pride came before the board where residents were against the request, expressing concerns about noise, maintenance, crime, and traffic issues. The board continued the public hearing twice now. First, because the board wanted more information from public safety officials, and then again the next meeting due to a missing board member. This brings us to the August 15th meeting. Representative of Pride Gas Station pointed out that the special permit has no hour restrictions.
Back in 1998, when the special permit was issued, the board at that point had the opportunity to impose conditions, impose restriction on hours, and there wasn't. And at that point, because we were conversing with the town, as a sign of good faith and good neighbors, we came back before you with this request. But I think you don't, with all due respect, have the authority or the jurisdiction at this point to address whether or not we can be 24 hours. That's not to say that if we were to open 24 hours and there were in fact, or was to be an adverse impact on the environment, on the atmosphere, then obviously we could be back before you with respect to that to evaluate it and see whether or not in fact an additional condition should be or could be imposed. But at this point, as the special permit reads that was issued, it only clears that if there's a substantial change in the plans, or a change in the plans, we have to come back before you. Well, the hours of operations have nothing to do with the plans. There's no condition with respect to the hours at this point. So with all due respect, I don't believe that you have the authority at this point to hear our request. I think we have, by right, have a right to.
Technically and legally, he could essentially start and run a 24-hour business right now. And then it would be a matter of zoning enforcement. The zoning administrator would come in and cite him for, I don't know what he would cite him for. If you have a special permit and there's no hours restrictions, what do you cite the person for legally? So that confounds me.
We're being asked here to amend the special permit to explicitly put in the hours, okay? That's what is before us. And the question is, do we or do we not make that amendment? If we don't make the amendment, then the special permit stands the way it is, and we may get into the scenario that you're talking about.
So either way, Mr. Bolduc could run a 24-hour convenience store.
I am not in a position to offer an opinion on that because I'm not an attorney.
Yeah.
The board voted against the 24/7 request, meaning that Pride's special permit stays the same, still with no representation of set hours, which ultimately concludes that Pride can become 24 hours without the planning board's permission.
The next meeting we cover, Board of Assessors. Here we learn that solar panels may become a thing of the past.
There's a new, sleeker look coming into play, solar shingles.
The board noticed that the number of solar panel installments are decreasing.
Not as many solar.
More solar.
You know, I was reading in Consumer Report, and that was one of the things they mentioned at school this past week. Solar shingles now for roofing are the next best thing.
You can do a whole roof with just for the shingles.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. And you can, I guess that some of them have a battery that you can store. They're more expensive, but they, according to our teacher at UMass, he said within 2 or 3 years, the prices will be comparable to what you pay for a new roof now.
Right.
Meadowbrook School is getting an exterior touch-up.
The Meadowbrook Accelerated Repair Program is underway.
The school committee requested funding for Meadowbrook's windows, doors, and roof since all these items were over 20 years old. Since the MSBA received so many applications, the requirements changed to 30 years, meaning that the Meadowbrook roof does not qualify for repairs since it's less than 30 years old. In June, the town council appropriated $100,000 for this project. There is still a lot of steps to be taken, such as working with a project manager, developing a building committee, and more. However, it's estimated that the window and door repairs will be completed between December and February of this year.
Lastly, we check in with the Board of Library Trustees.
We'll start with the director's report.
Briefly, I really want to compliment and thank all of the library staff, in particular the Children's Department, for another successful summer reading program. I wanted to update everybody that for June and July, we had 1,223 registered participants, over 60 youth volunteers, 17 total programs with 1,243 total participants. The library staff always put a lot of thought, creativity, and hard work into the summer reading program, and patrons and I know all the trustees really appreciate all of their efforts and hard work.
More on library news. Be sure to save the date for these popular programs. First, ELPL Eats. It's great to see the Cookbook Club receiving so many participants, because the more that register, the more food samples there are to try. Here's how it works. Pick up a copy of the designated cookbook at the library, choose a recipe, bring in the dish for all to try, sample other participants' creations, mingle, and learn about the pure joy of cooking. The event takes place on September 9th at 1 p.m. Sign up today and get cooking.
This next program is one you won't want to miss, an important presentation on how to protect yourself from identity theft. Mila Johnson, Director of Springfield Consumer Information, will teach the group about the different types of identity theft, how it happens, and what you can do to protect yourself. The program takes place on Wednesday, September 13th at 6:30 p.m. See you there.
Well, that will do it for this edition of ELCAT News Update. Be sure to stay connected with us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at ELCAT 01028. Don't forget to watch us on cable channels 191, 192, and 193.
For program times, make sure to check out our ELCAT program guide, available at the Town Hall, Senior Center, Library, and through our website at eastlongmeadowma.gov. Guides are also delivered monthly within the reminder. Until next time, I'm Courtney Ingalls.
And I'm Anthony Grissetti. Thanks for watching. See you next week.